Walking into the high school reunion felt like stepping into a time machine. I'm Anna, just a regular 32-year-old financial analyst, nothing fancy about me. As I mingled, the air was thick with nostalgia. Laughter and chatter filled the room, everyone slipping back into their teenage selves, like it was just yesterday we were all here. I caught up with a few classmates, sharing stories about our lives after school. The usual stuff: jobs, families, the whole shebang. That's when I noticed Jake, standing alone by the punch bowl, looking like someone had just run over his dog. I remembered him as the quiet guy from math class, always kept to himself. Curious, I nudged Lily, my old pal and a local chatterbox. "Hey, what's up with Jake?" I asked, nodding towards him. "Oh, girl, you won't believe it. His crazy ex just dumped him. Again. It's been a whole soap opera with those two. Drama, fights in public, you name it. This time, it's supposedly over for good," Lily replied, her eyes wide with excitement. Feeling a bit sorry for the guy, I excused myself from the group and made my way over to Jake. "Hey, Jake. Long time, huh?" I started, trying to sound casual. He looked up, a bit startled. "Oh, hey, Anna. Yeah, it's been ages. You look good," he stammered, managing a weak smile. "Thanks. You okay?" I asked, nodding towards the far end of the room where people were whispering and stealing glances at him. He let out a heavy sigh. "Yeah, just the usual drama with my ex. It's over now, for real this time. I'm just tired of all the yelling and scenes, you know?" I nodded, understanding more than I wanted to. "I get it. Peace and quiet seem like a luxury sometimes," I said. Jake chuckled. "You're telling me. It's been a roller coaster. I'm just looking for some normalcy, you know? No more emotional earthquakes every other day." We both laughed, the ice between us breaking a little. The conversation flowed more freely after that. We talked about our jobs, our families, and how life turned out so differently from what we had planned back in high school. As the night wore on, the reunion buzz faded into a comfortable hum. I found myself enjoying Jake's company more than I expected. He was different from the quiet kid I vaguely remembered. There was a depth to him, a certain calmness, despite the recent storm in his life. "Listen, Anna, I don't mean to be forward, but would you like to grab coffee sometime? It's been really nice catching up," Jake asked, a hint of nervousness in his voice. I smiled, surprised by the sudden flutter in my stomach. "Yeah, I'd like that. It's been nice talking to you too, Jake." Jake and I met up at a cozy little cafe downtown. It was one of those places with mismatched furniture and an endless supply of caffeine. We settled into a corner, coffee in hand, and picked up right where we left off. "You know, I didn't expect to have such a good time at the reunion," Jake started, stirring his coffee absent-mindedly. "Me neither," I admitted, smiling over my mug. "Especially not the part where I'd end up sitting here with you." Jake laughed, and it was a sound that made me feel unexpectedly at ease. Life's weird like that. One minute you're minding your own business, the next you're getting coffee with someone you barely spoke 2 words to in high school. "Yeah, and now look at us, talking like old friends," I said, feeling a warmth in my chest that had nothing to do with the coffee. We talked for hours, about everything and nothing. Work, family, the latest TV shows we were hooked on. It was easy, comfortable. And before we knew it, the cafe was closing. "Time flies, huh?" Jake said as we stood up to leave. "Like a jet," I replied, pulling on my jacket. "Thanks for the coffee and the company, Jake. It was nice." "Nice?" He raised an eyebrow, a playful smirk on his face. "Just nice?" I laughed, rolling my eyes. "Okay, more than nice. It was great." "Happy now?" "Ecstatic," he said, his smile reaching his eyes. "So, Anna, would you be up for doing this again? Maybe dinner next time?" I didn't even hesitate. I'd like that, Jake. A lot. And that's how it started. Dinner turned into movie nights, which turned into weekend getaways. Before I knew it, I was head over heels for the guy I barely knew in high school. He was kind, funny, and had this way of making me feel like I was the only person in the room. One evening, we were walking along the river, the city lights reflecting off the water. It was one of those perfect moments, and Jake stopped, turning to face me. How about we make this official then? Anna, will you be my wife? I didn't even have to think. Yes, Jake. I'd love that. It was fast, sure, but it felt right. Like everything in my life was leading up to this point. The next few months were a blur of happiness. I was in love, and it felt like nothing could touch us. You'd think after the whirlwind that was Jake and me getting together, we'd be set for a smooth ride. Well, think again. After the honeymoon phase started to fade, things got complicated. One evening, Jake came home late from work for the third time that week. I was sitting at the kitchen table, the remains of dinner I'd made cooling off in front of me. Late again, huh? I said as he walked in, trying to keep my voice light. Yeah, work's been a nightmare. Deadlines, meetings, you know how it is, Jake replied, not meeting my eyes as he grabbed a beer from the fridge. I sighed. I get that, Jake, but this is becoming a regular thing. I miss spending time with you. He took a swig of his beer and shrugged. What can I say, Anna? I gotta do what I gotta do. You want a roof over our heads, right? I bit my lip, feeling a sting of frustration. It's not about that, Jake. It feels like you're avoiding me. We used to have fun, remember? Now you're always tired or busy. Jake let out a short laugh, but there was no humor in it. Fun? What do you want to do, Anna? Sit around and watch TV all night. Come on, we're not kids anymore. His words felt like a slap. So what, you're saying I'm boring now? He didn't answer right away, just took another sip of his beer. I'm saying we're adults, Anna. We can't just drop everything and have fun all the time. Life's not like that. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. This wasn't the Jake I fell in love with. I know that, Jake. But it's like you don't even want to try anymore. Remember when we used to plan date nights? Now it's like pulling teeth to get you to spend an hour with me. Jake set his beer down with a sigh. Look, Anna, I'm sorry, okay? I didn't mean to make you feel that way. It's just, everything's so hectic right now. I wanted to believe him, I really did. But something in my gut told me it wasn't just about work. We went to bed that night with a wall of silence between us. The next few weeks were a roller coaster. One day Jake would be the loving guy I knew, the next he was distant and cold. It was like living with two different people. Life's got a funny way of tossing curveballs, just when you think you've got the game figured out. One Tuesday evening, Jake walked through the door looking like he'd gone 10 rounds with a wildcat. His face was scratched up, clothes a mess. My heart skipped a beat, part worry, part something darker, suspicion maybe. Jake, what the hell happened to you? I blurted out, rushing over to him. He flinched, avoiding my eyes. It's nothing, Anna. Just had a little run-in on the street. I frowned, my mind racing. A run-in? With what, a set of claws? Who did this to you, Jake? He sighed, a tired, worn-out sound. I told you, it's nothing. Some crazy lady thought I was someone else, got all up in my face. It was nothing. I wasn't buying it. This wasn't just some random street altercation. The scratches were too deliberate, too personal. Jake, this doesn't look like nothing. This looks serious. Why won't you tell me the truth? He shrugged, the gesture too casual, too rehearsed. What do you want me to say, Anna? You want a better story? I don't have one. It was just a misunderstanding, that's all. Misunderstanding, my foot. I could feel the anger bubbling up, a mix of worry, frustration, and outright fear. So, some crazy lady just decides to scratch your face off, and you think it's not a big deal? Jake, look at me. This isn't normal. We need to do something about it. Jake finally looked at me, his eyes cold, distant. What do you want to do, Anna? Call the cops over a few scratches? It's over, it's done with. Let's just forget it happened, okay? But I couldn't let it go, not this time. Forget it? Jake, I can't just turn a blind eye. Something's not right. This isn't you. Talk to me, please. What's really going on? He didn't answer, just walked past me to the kitchen, his shoulders slumped, the weight of 1,000 unsaid words hanging between us. I followed, my mind racing, trying to piece together the puzzle that my life with Jake had become. Jake, please. I pleaded, my voice softer now. This isn't just about the scratches. It's about us, about how you've been acting. I'm worried about you, about us. He paused, a bottle of beer in his hand, and let out a long, deep breath. I know, Anna. I know things haven't been great. I'm sorry, okay? I'm just dealing with a lot right now. Just when you think you've got your life on track, it throws you off with a twist. This chapter of my life starts in the least glamorous place, a hospital bed. The pain hit me out of nowhere, like a truck. 1 minute I was at my desk crunching numbers, the next I was doubled over, clutching my stomach in agony. Fast forward through the blur of an ambulance ride, and there I was, hooked up to IVs, with a white-coated doctor telling me it's all stress-induced. I reached for my phone, shaky fingers dialing Jake's number. He needed to know, he needed to be here. The phone rang, and just when I thought I'd go to voicemail, he picked up. Jake, it's me. I'm in the hospital. Something's wrong with my stomach, they're saying it's stress or something. I need you, I said, trying to keep the panic at bay. There was a pause, a beat too long, and then Jake's voice, strangely distant. Anna, look, I can't. I'm on my way to the airport. Urgent business trip, it came out of nowhere. My heart sank. Business trip? Now? Jake, did you even hear what I said? I'm in the hospital. Our anniversary is in a few days. You can't just leave. I don't have a choice, Anna. It's my job, he said, his voice flat, as if we were discussing some trivial inconvenience, not a crisis. But I started, but he cut me off. I gotta go, Anna. I'll call you when I can. And with that, he hung up. I was stunned, disbelief and pain swirling into a nasty cocktail. It felt unreal, lying there alone, my husband off on a sudden business trip, while I was grappling with pain that apparently was all in my head. When the shock wore off, anger took its place. I needed answers. I picked up the phone again, this time calling Jake's office. His boss answered, confusion clear in his voice. Business trip? No, there's no business trip. Jake took a 2-week leave, said it was personal. The room spun. Personal leave. No business trip. I was suddenly very aware of the cold, sterile hospital room around me, the beeping of machines, the distant chatter of nurses. It felt like I was in a bubble, watching my life crumble from the inside. I hung up and called Lily, my trusty source for all things gossip. Maybe she knew something, anything, that could make sense of this mess. Lily, it's Anna. I need to know, have you heard anything about Jake recently? There was a pause, then Lily's voice, cautious. Anna, are you sure you want to know? Just tell me, Lily. Okay, but brace yourself. Word is, Jake's been seen around town with his ex. You know, the crazy one. They're saying he's back with her. I couldn't breathe. It was like every fear, every doubt I'd ever had about Jake and his mysterious behavior came crashing down on me all at once. The late nights, the scratches, the sudden business trip. It all made a horrible kind of sense. "Anna? Are you there? Are you okay?" Lily's voice broke through my thoughts. "No, Lily, I'm not okay. I'm far from okay. But thanks for telling me." I hung up, the weight of betrayal heavy on my chest. Lying in that hospital bed, I realized that the life I thought I had, the marriage I believed in, it was all a lie. And I was the last to know. The pain in my stomach was nothing compared to the ache in my heart. After the bombshells that had been dropping in my life, I was starting to feel like a war zone survivor. I still stuck in this hospital bed, but now the pain in my gut was the least of my worries. The betrayal, the lies, Jake's disappearing act, it all swirled in my head like a bad storm. I was just about to attempt some crappy hospital food when my phone rang. Jake's name flashed on the screen. My heart skipped, not sure if it was fear, anger, or just plain curiosity. I answered, my voice colder than I intended. "Jake, what do you want?" "Anna, thank God. Listen, I'm in a mess. I need your help," he blurted out, panic clear in his voice. My eyebrows shot up. "Help? Now you need my help? Where are you, Jake? And don't feed me any more lies." There was a pause, a shuffling sound, then, "I'm not where I said I'd be. I'm out of the country. With her." The honesty hit me like a slap. At least he wasn't lying this time. "Go on," I said, my voice steady, my grip on the phone tight. "We came to this resort, thought we could sort things out. But it went bad, Anna, real bad. We got into a fight, and now we're in trouble with the local police. They've thrown us in a cell, and it's bad here, Anna, real bad." I almost laughed. Almost. The sheer audacity of the man was almost comical. "So let me get this straight. You ditch your wife in the hospital, run off with your ex, to some exotic location, and now you're in jail, calling me for help? Anna, please. I know I messed up, but this is serious. They're talking about fines, jail time, lawyers. I don't know what to do." His voice cracked, and for a moment, just a moment, I felt a pang of the old affection. But it passed, leaving a bitter taste in my mouth. "Jake, you made your bed. Now you get to lie in it. With her," I said, each word sharp and clear. I hung up before he could say another word. But I wasn't done yet. I had one more call to make. I dialed Jake's parents, the words pouring out before they could even say hello. "Mr. and Mrs. Smith, it's Anna. I'm sorry to call like this, but there's something you need to know about Jake." Their shock was evident, their voices a mix of disbelief and horror as I laid it all out, the affair, the betrayal, and now the desperate call from some foreign jail. "This is unbelievable. Our Jake, doing something like this? And now he's in trouble?" Mr. Smith's voice was a low rumble, a storm brewing. Mrs. Smith was quick to add, "He's always been impulsive, but this? This is too much. We can't condone this behavior. He needs to learn, and if that means facing the consequences, then so be it." I hung up, the weight of the conversation heavy on my shoulders, but my resolve unshaken. Jake had made his choices, and now, he had to face the music, alone. I was done being the safety net, the fallback plan. Fresh out of the hospital, I was just settling into the quiet of my own place when the doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone, certainly not Jake. But there he was, standing on my doorstep, looking like he'd been dragged through hell and back. "Anna," Jake said, his voice barely above a whisper. I need to talk to you." I raised an eyebrow, my arms crossed. "Really? Now you need to talk? What's up, Jake? Cat got your tongue?" He stepped inside, looking around the place like it was foreign land. I'm in deep trouble, Anna. You know that. I need your help. I couldn't help but let out a laugh, harsh and biting. Help? You've got some nerve, showing up here and asking for help after everything. You look awful, by the way. Jake's face fell, the weight of his actions written all over him. I know I messed up. But being locked up in that place, it was hell, Anna. And it's your fault. You left me there to rot. My laughter died, replaced by a cold, hard stare. My fault? You cheat, you lie, and somehow it's my fault? You're delusional, Jake. He took a step back, as if my words were physical blows. But, Anna, I thought we were in this together. I thought you'd have my back. I shook my head, disbelief and anger swirling inside me. Together? That ship sailed the moment you decided to run off with her. And now you want my support? You're out of your mind. Jake's face went pale, his eyes darting around the room, looking for some kind of escape. Anna, please. I'm begging you. I don't have anyone else. I took a deep breath, feeling a sense of power and resolve I hadn't felt in a long time. No, Jake. It's over. I'm filing for divorce. And you bet I'll be asking for compensation for your little escapade. The color drained from his face, his eyes wide with panic. Divorce? Compensation? But, Anna, you can't do that. You don't have any proof. I couldn't help but smile, a cold, hard smile that didn't reach my eyes. Oh, but I do, Jake. See, while you were off playing lovebirds in paradise, I was busy. My lawyer has been in touch with the police. They were quite helpful, provided all the evidence we needed, including your own testimony and hers. Jake staggered, as if the words were physical blows knocking the wind out of him. You did that? I nodded, my resolve steeling. Yes, Jake. I did. And now, you're going to face the consequences. It's time you learned that actions have consequences. And it's time I took my life back. He looked at me, a mix of fear, regret, and something else, something like realization, dawning in his eyes. Anna, I never meant for any of this to happen. But it was too late for apologies, too late for regrets. I watched as he turned and left, the door closing softly behind him. I stood there, in the quiet of my living room, feeling the weight of the past lift off my shoulders. The divorce papers were signed, sealed, and delivered, and with them, a hefty compensation for all the hell he dragged me through. One morning, as I sipped my coffee in the quiet of my now truly mine apartment, my phone buzzed. It was Lily, the ever-present pulse of the town's heartbeat. Hey, Anna, how's the new life treating you? She asked, her voice buzzing with the latest gossip. I leaned back, a smile spreading across my face. Couldn't be better, Lily. The divorce is final, and the compensation is, let's just say, satisfying. Lily's laughter rang through the phone. I bet. Hey, did you hear about Jake and his darling? They're still at it, like cats and dogs. Police had to break them up the other night. It's all over town. I shook my head, the last strings of attachment to that part of my life dissolving. Not my circus, not my monkeys anymore, Lily. Let him deal with the mess he made. Speaking of messes, Lily continued, word is, his job's on the line. His little escapades haven't gone unnoticed. Even his folks are keeping their distance. Karma's a real thing, huh? I took another sip of my coffee, the taste of freedom sweet on my tongue. Seems like it, Lily. But that's his journey to walk. I've got my own path to tread. We chatted for a while, Lily filling me in on the town's latest, me sharing plans of rebuilding my life, my way. After we hung up, I sat there, the morning sun casting a warm glow over the room. As for Jake, the rumors kept coming. Fights, police visits, job troubles. I heard it all, but it didn't sting anymore. It was like watching a distant storm, knowing you're safe and warm indoors. My life was my own now, a blank canvas waiting for new colors, new stories. And as for Jake, well, he was just a faded picture in the gallery of my past, a lesson learned, a stepping stone to the strong, resilient person I had become.